The Eagles made it a close one against the Buccaneers thanks to Jalen Hurts. We'll talk about it next on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Welcome to Fantasy Football Today in 5. I'm Chris Towers here with Dan Schneier, and we're going to answer some start-sit questions on this Friday morning. But first, 3 big questions from Thursday's surprisingly close game between the Buccaneers and the Eagles. The Bucs won 28-22. And the first question, we'll start with the Bucs side. Are you actually ready to trust Leonard Fournette as a must-start fantasy RB? He had 127 total yards, 6 catches, and 2 touchdowns in this one. That's his 3rd game in a row with 100-plus yards, the last 2 with both Ronald Jones and Giovanni Bernard active. What are you feeling about Leonard Fournette right now?
I am ready to trust Leonard Fournette as an every-week starter. He has the red zone role. He's more active than we thought in the passing game than we ever thought he'd be. And he's looking more spry than the old Leonard Fournette. He's kind of looking a little bit more like the Jacksonville days Fournette. So right now, in one of the best offenses in football, I'm willing to trust him every week.
Yeah, Tom Brady does seem to, really trust Fournette as that dump-off option. I think on the occasions where the Buccaneers end up in like a 2-minute offense or are playing from behind and are in obvious pass situations, I think that's when we'll see Giovanni Bernard. We saw that a little bit in week 3, I believe, when he had 9 catches, but that's really the only game that Bernard's been involved with. And Ronald Jones looks like a clear backup. So I think it feels weird trusting Leonard Fournette in a Bruce Arians offense, but I think we're at that point where you can. Move on to the next question. And, there was a lot of, LOL, Jalen Hurts, garbage time talk on Twitter. He had 10.5 fantasy points at halftime. I just want to point out, but that's fine. He ended up with 25 in this one, but he did it while completing just 12 of 26 for 15 yards. Threw for a touchdown, but he also had an interception. Any concern that Jalen Hurts' fantasy success might not be sustainable moving forward?
None from my end. I think you could even make a case right now that he's maybe not the highest upside, but the most consistent rushing quarterback out there as far as just rushing production goes. And once again, we see him saving his day with rushing production, even the games where it looks like it's going to be bad. Like you said, he's on pace for 20 plus points at half. And so with that rushing floor, I'm just never going to be concerned. He's an every week guy for me as well. Yeah.
And in this one, I think the issue on the passing side, he missed some throws, obviously, but there were a couple of situations where, the interception, Quez Watkins just jumped at the wrong time. Yeah. Just hit the Y button about a half second too early and ended up giving the Buccaneers a pretty easy interception on a deep ball. So, yeah, I agree with you. The rushing just always gives him a nice floor. He's always, a threat to score a touchdown or 2 on the ground in addition to 50, 60, 70 yards every week. So, I agree. I'm not that concerned moving forward. Now, on the other hand, is there anyone on this Philadelphia offense you can actually trust besides Jalen Hurts?
The only people I could trust besides Jalen Hurts right now are one of the 2 tight ends if the other tight end is out, like we saw tonight. Otherwise, I do. And this is not to say that I don't trust Hurts, because Hurts' rushing upside and his floor makes him an every week guy. But the passing game is not where it needs to be right now. And as far as Sanders goes, man, he looked good on those limited touches, but it took them forever to get him going. And so I can't trust him right now to be in that game plan. This is a pass all the time style of coordinator and offensive game plan that they have going.
Yeah, Miles Sanders had 9 carries for 56 yards, 2 catches for 10. So,
that.
Yeah, that's 8.6 PPR points. That's not great. It's better than nothing, I suppose. And
this should have been a get-right matchup, or not a get-right, but potential breakout matchup for Smith against a beat-up secondary, and it was not.
Yeah, 2 catches for 31 yards for Devontae Smith on 4 targets. So the production, I still think he's got a bright future, but the production has not been exactly what we were hoping for. Now let's move on to some of those start-sit questions. And the first one we'll start off with Khalil Herbert, the presumed starting running back for the Chicago Bears after Damian Williams was added to the COVID-19 list. Are you starting Khalil Herbert this week?
The volume's too good to not start him. I am a little concerned with game script here. If Green Bay goes up by a few touchdowns, which I think could happen, is there someone else they can turn to? But Khalil Herbert looked good. He was a prospect I liked a lot coming out of college. He was one of my favorite day 3 sleepers. Wrote him up in a profile for CBS Sports if anyone wants to check it out. So I trust the talent and I trust the volume. So
there is a chance that Damian Williams could play, but it depends on if he's symptomatic. If he's not symptomatic, he would have to return 2 negative tests before Sunday's game. If he is symptomatic, there's almost no chance he can play. And that's assuming he's vaccinated. So those are the NFL rules regarding that. What about Adam Thielen, start or sit? He has not had more than 51 yards in a game since week 1, and no touchdowns in the last 2 games has really highlighted that lack of production.
Yeah, Adam Thielen, the poster boy for regression. This was a player who none of us were really high on in the preseason at CBS. We kind of all saw the tea leaves here, and I'm not starting him anymore. You just can't count on a touchdown every week, which is what you need from Thielen because there's no volume there.
Yep. Yeah, I could see a big game this week, but it's also worth noting both Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson have not practiced as of Thursday. Thielen dealing with a foot injury, Jefferson with an ankle. We don't know whether they're going to play, so you'll have to keep a close eye on Friday reports to get a sense of that. And one last one, we'll go to the Giants. Sterling Shepard, assuming 1, he plays. He's been limited in practice. Seems likely he will play in week 6. And 2, assuming Daniel Jones will play, which also, he was limited on Thursday from his concussion, so it does look like he's got a chance, but it's a tough matchup against the Rams. Would you start Sterling Shepard this week?
Well, I'll start by saying it's unless there's a setback, both Jones and Sterling Shepard will play. They both told reporters separately we're playing this week. So even with that said, though, I'm not going to start Sterling Shepard in his first game back in a difficult matchup here. But I would start Kadarius Toney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say Sterling Shepard has played almost exclusively out of the slot this year. And if you're worried that might mean bad things for Kadarius Toney, 154 of his 189 yards last week came lined up on the outside. So doesn't seem to be a concern. He looks really good. I do have him as a top 30 wide receiver. That'll do it for fantasy football today. In 5 on a Friday. We'll be back over the weekend with some more start sit questions and the Sunday morning injury breakdown. We'll see you then.